On the hardwood, just up the road from Norman, Oklahoma, it's Tulsa. The Box Center, the Sooners welcoming the Trojans of USC. Alongside Tim Welsh, Will Fleming, and welcome inside the arena. Just about ready to tip. Tim, a couple of teams going in opposite directions.
Oklahoma playing great basketball, a couple of tremendous wins over Notre Dame. And there's the man that started right out of the game. We can't even get the opening because we wanted to talk about Christian James, but he elevates quickly.
He has been that good. He has been a totally improved player. We got a little conflict on the far side. The referee bumping into a cameraman. And Christian James has been the man. Look, it's life after Trae Young, and he has stepped in and filled the void.
Unbelievable. But the big resurgence in this program as far as defensively, mindset. I think they've grown up a year. They're a little older, a little more mature, a little more of Lon Kruger type defense. And solid on the offensive end.
Benny Boatwright, the senior scoring leader for these Trojans a year ago, and it's off his foot and out of bounds. You know, it's interesting, Tim, a year ago, everyone's so focused on this side of the ball. The offense for Oklahoma, the 5 that Lon Kruger sends out. It is the defense we're going to focus on. They're a top 10 field goal percentage defense in the whole country.
Lon's reputation over the years has been built on defense. Everyone knows about their offense a year ago with Trae Young, but certainly they are guarding better, and USC out of the gate with an early turnover, and Oklahoma the same, but USC has struggled as of late shooting the basketball. They've been hurt by injuries. They really need to get some production from the perimeter from Jonah Matthews and, of course, Benny Boatwright.
Nick Kosovic has had a breakout year. There he is on the left elbow. Brady Manick on him, and a left-hand miss for Kosovic.
Good angle to the rim, and just kind of lost focus as he elevated.
Machine shooting the rock, and so is Manick, and that is a good sign for Oklahoma. When he gets hot early, look out.
He was hot in the Garden a week and a half ago against Notre Dame, and then cooled off last weekend against Wichita State. But on the year, only shooting 30%, but that ball came off his hand perfectly.
They need that number to go up. They say that when Manick makes his first, he's impressive. That's a steal for James. Quickly the other way and off the hands of Doolittle. And OU will turnover happy early.
Well, probably was a good decision by Christian James. Doolittle really wasn't doing anything. There's Andy Enfield. He's really done a great job at USC, and have just been bitten more than any coach we've seen recently with the injury bug. Had to cancel 3 scrimmages in the preseason.
Unbelievable. And they're losing 2 of their premier young pieces, particularly Kevin Porter Jr., a guy they see is as athletic as any player they've ever had. He's got a big thigh contusion, and we're sorry to miss him here tonight. Big part of their plans. Doolittle walked in the lane. So not a lot of rhythm for Lon's Sooners here early.
They've had a lot of rhythm on the season. You pointed out, Will, that 36% from the field goal percentage defense. Very, very impressive. Their net rate in the NCAA so far this year has been in the mid to high teens because they played a bear of a schedule.
Absolutely have. USC is trying to improve their out-of-conference strength. You know, they were so disappointed a year ago. They were the highest ever RPI number to miss the NCAA tournament in 2018 as Thornton misses. Derek Thornton, a Duke transfer, in the top of the key, and that's contact as Miles Reynolds drives the lane and a foul on the floor. But this is a team in USC that has talent, has some players, but the injury bug has just been unavoidable.
Well, you really have to put on your psychological hat more than anything after that game against TCU a week ago in the Staples Center, where the USC just, as Andy said, we weren't ready to play. And Andy said, we'll turn this around quickly. At least we'll show a better effort. And they had a long, spirited meeting in the locker room after that game, and I expect them to play with a lot more focus and intensity tonight.
Early change. Shaquan Aaron to the bench. And welcome inside the Box Center. Thanks for joining us on ESPNU. USC trails Oklahoma early, and they are on the board with that lay-in. 5-2 is the score. Will Fleming, Tim Welsh, and Tim, to reset for our viewers on ESPNU. This Oklahoma team has it humming early.
They do, and this man right there can get it going. Brady Manick not shooting the ball well on the season, made his first 3 tonight, and watched him for a long time in warm-ups this evening, and he looks very, very confident from the perimeter.
He may not be the hick from French Lick, but he does have that look. He's 1 for 2 from downtown. USC is trying to really enhance their strength of schedule, Tim, and they have tested themselves. Unfortunately, all their marquee games have been losses. You mentioned TCU, but Vanderbilt, Texas Tech, Nevada, they just have not been able to get wins. This thin club.
Well, they played pretty tough in every one of those games, and were in every one except for the Texas TCU game. So Texas Tech has been one of the surprises in the nation this year. And really, I think that this will help USC moving forward. They just got to get through this patch where they get healthy and get ready for the Pac-12 season.
There's Aaron Calixte, number 2 for Oklahoma. They got the anthracite uniforms on tonight. Tim, do not call them black. They're the Jordan anthracite. Calixte's been a pleasant surprise, the grad transfer from Maine.
He has. He's very physical, good defender. At times he's struggled with just the length at this level, but Lon Kruger is happy with his adjustments coming from Maine, and they really needed him. They needed a natural point guard after Trey Young left a year after his freshman year.
Rakozovic brought down the rebound. That's been a big story for him. His rebounding has greatly improved as Doolittle goes to the floor. Held ball. That'll stay with the Trojans.
Benny Portwright's got to be careful with that dribble. A little loose with the basketball out on the perimeter. And Oklahoma's defensive philosophies, they're going to put a lot of pressure on the basketball, but as soon as you turn the corner, you're going to see a second and a third defender in help position.
This is a surprise for us, Tim, because Lon Kruger told us Jimani McNeese, their big man in the middle, their rim protector, was not going to go tonight unless it was some kind of foul trouble emergency. It's a huge plot line that he's in there early.
Well, Alex Brown, they're great trainers, and working round the clock with Jimani. And I think they wanted to get him loose and get him involved. And they saw him warm up tonight. He warmed up pretty hard. So when you warm up hard, you want to get a little quick test early before you get cold. So McNeese is in there. He'll give him a big lift defensively.
There is Calixte, their first field goal in their last 7 trips. They had gone empty in a half dozen. 3 turnovers, 3 misses. But Calixte almost gets in the passing lane there, but Elijah Weaver controls it, almost gives it away himself. 4-3 for Derek Thornton is too short. And there is McNeese cleaning up the board. And a foul on USC sends us to break. Thanks for joining us on the early Lon Kruger Sooners 7-2 lead over.
We could go away from home is in Oklahoma City, but they haven't been at home hardly at all, and they've got Creighton, and then they got to go to Northwestern. So Lon Kruger knew he had something. He's playing USC tonight, and USC was projected to be one of in the top half of the Pac-12. And really, it's a great team effort so far this season for Oklahoma. Christian James has been spectacular, but it isn't just him. He's made everybody better, and those 2 grad transfers have been special as well.
And the Enfield does not harp on it. He was really unhappy with his team after that game against TCU. He did not hold back, but the injuries, you just do have to repeat it as McNeese up and under. And offense from the big man in the middle.
Great footwork, and he carved out that space, took his time, and USC gave only that one-on-one coverage. Not sure if USC thought he was going to play. I don't think anybody really knew, but to Lon's credit, he had a feel for it and put him in early.
That's another offensive board for Rakozovic. Weaver down the lane. They are so out of sync. They've scored on just 1 of 11 offensive possessions. Look out. And 1 step too many almost there. James under the post and a foul. That was a little awkward in transition.
It's always upsetting as a coach. You don't get back in transition, then you get them to travel, they don't call it, and then you get a foul.
But Enfield said, I question our mental toughness, our effort, our heart after that game against TCU. He is such a likable guy, happy in Southern California, signed the big contract extension, having made the tournament 3 of the last 4 years, and by all rights, a tournament team a year ago. Second foul on Matthews. But it's so hard, Tim. You know this as a coach better than anybody. Sometimes the injury is just a very real thing.
Well, it is, and the worst part about it is, listen, you can play with 7 guys in a game, but the problem is you can't practice with 7 guys, and you can't get any rhythm, any fluidity going. You can't put new things in. You're constantly, even when you have guys out, you have other guys that have to sometimes heal and can't practice. So you're really at a tough spot, and you're still trying to win basketball games against the highest level of competition. And some schools, you look around the country, they haven't even gone on the road yet. And you look at USC and Oklahoma's schedule, you know that they have challenged their teams And USC, I think, will get there once they get healthy.
Shaquan Aaron with the offensive board. Oklahoma has played 8 of their 10 games out of their own building. As a runner and one, Derek Thornton with a left hand. This is their 3rd straight neutral site game, Tim, and Oklahoma just has not been at home at all.
USC needs to feel at home here, and this is what they need. This is just what the doctor ordered. Just somehow creating a little space. Better decision that time by Thornton not to attack on first side pass. They moved the ball, they reversed it, and then he found a little space on the wing.
And the infield was preaching shot selection, ball movement. When they're humming offensively, they share it. He thought against TCU there were too many quick shots, and it really bled into the defensive end. That's a push off on Rashard Odoms. And Tim, even though they have this lead early, you wouldn't say it's been that smooth. That's the 4th turnover for Oklahoma.
Yeah, they're a lot of sync. Now, USC, Andy thought that their poor offense last week led to bad defense. So far tonight, the message has been sent. Their offense has not been smooth, but they've been pretty rock solid on the defensive end.
That's out of control for Usher, and I think he gets very fortunate that USC keeps the ball crashing into Christian James. As a coach, Tim, when your offense is trying to integrate new pieces, you're trying to find rotations and substitutions that work. What can you do to try to simplify, to make things easier on the offensive end?
Well, the problem is that they don't have the numbers. Basically, they're going with 7 guys tonight, and guys that have played the games. And so now you've got to stick with those guys. And those guys go through a rough patch out there on the floor. You still have to win games with your defense. And that's what Andy was preaching after the TCU game. We let our bad offense affect our defense. So you should never have a bad night on the defensive end of the floor, and that's what happened against TCU.
Oh, right, going to work, and he travels on the baseline.
I thought that was a pretty good move by Boatwright. He's kind of created a little space. He's got that nice touch from the outside and that short corner area. A little fadeaway, but Jerry Pollard caught him sliding his foot.
5th turnover for the Trojans. Well, and not that pleasant a start for them tonight, but they've got great memories about this building. To the Trojans, another foul on USC. That'll be the 4th team foul. But it was 2 years ago when Elijah Stewart hit the corner 3 to beat SMU in the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament after the tremendous comeback over Providence in the play-in game, and they really fought Baylor to the end right here in Tulsa as Andy Enfield got the Trojans back to the tournament.
Well, Tulsa does a nice job of promoting their basketball here locally, and really impressed with this arena.
Up top for 3 is Jordan Usher. That's a much-needed make for USC.
Now, Usher can make shots from the outside. That's what USC needs. They need to stretch the forwards of Oklahoma out on the perimeter and knock down some shots.
And that's a foul on the floor on Weaver as he and McNeese tangled it up.
Well, Jordan Usher can do this, 32% on the year, but you can see he's got a smooth stroke from the perimeter, and when USC pushes the ball in transition and makes that extra pass and then draws the defense in, this is when they're the most effective, sharing the basketball.
Usher had only made 6 of 19 threes coming in, so welcome sign. As a team, USC does have a lot of athletes. They shoot it very well, 40% as a team from 3.
On the season, their assist-to-turnover ratio has been positive, but in the last couple games, they've gone the wrong direction. Now they're in the 2-3 zone. Lon Kruger talked about it today. He said this will be the most zone they face all season long.
There's the Kiwi, Matt Freeman, at the free throw line, trying to get to the middle of that zone. Odoms on the baseline, and he finds the touch with a left.
Tremendous patience by Oklahoma on that possession. Odoms just took his time, knew that the clock was winding down, but didn't rush his shot in the paint.
He gets in the passing lane there. They say they've been so impressed with him coming off the bench as a senior, started his previous 2 years in this one by a whisker.
Well, he did a good job getting the ball in the middle of the floor, and then just a little rub screen at the perimeter, and Vukocevic comes over, but just a little late on the help.
Odoms is sort of emblematic of what Lon Kruger has built this year. You hear all about the improved culture here as James picks up the boat right miss. But they really are a more cohesive unit. And a senior sort of sitting on the bench, coming off as a real spark plug after starting for 2 years. I think that's a pretty good symptom of what's going on here.
It is. And, you know, the thing is about Oklahoma, when you add the two grad transfers in Calixte and Reynolds, you have to be particular about them. And sometimes it's a crapshoot, but they've done a nice job fitting in perfectly from the start.
After the opening dunk, James has been somewhat quiet. He misses the 3 ball there. 5-point lead. Trojans have clawed back within 5. Already 4 rebounds, averaging nearly 9 a game. Weaver down the lane, and they pull within 3. And ball gets away, and it'll be a media timeout. 12-9
to turn it. Not sure exactly if it was on the elevation or when he came down, but clearly playing a solid game so far and just ran right to the locker room. So just another disastrous situation.
On the bright side, USC is back within 3. We saw him crumbling to the bench and immediately into the locker room. Hopefully a short-term situation. Manick made his first 3 and has missed his last 3 shots. They're going to get the Finn Hunnis Poland. Trying to get an offensive rebound. Now they're down to 6, Tim.
Well, Will, I like USC in this zone. I think it's a smart move by Andy Anfeld just to kind of get that length out on the perimeter. It's getting Oklahoma to slow down a little bit. And for the first time you've played against the zone all season long for a long period of time, you can sometimes get that nice bounce pass delivery.
How about the backdoor cut to Shaquan Aaron? He was 6'7" redshirt senior. He was a kid who came out of high school as a top 20 recruit, went to Louisville, got out of here, and is really coming into his own here at USC. Within 1. And I think they're going to get Usher on the floor as Miles Reynolds tries to drive the rack.
Well, it started on the defensive end of the floor. USC gets some stops, and now it's transcending down to the offensive end of the floor. Better fluid offense, better spacing, good ball movement, good player movement, and USC mentally seems very positive so far in this game.
Aaron left home to go to Louisville and now back in LA. That's a turnover for Oklahoma. USC is going to have a chance to take the lead on this possession. Ray Manick at times can get himself in a little bit of a rut.
He's been more physical this year, rebounding the ball better, even going down in the low post, putting some moves on. Hasn't shot the ball well, but sometimes rushes his play.
A bit better offensive flow right now for USC as Usher gives them the lead.
Well, the scary thing as a coach, if you're Lon Kruger, is your team, you can show them every great clip in the world, but they saw that score from the TCU game a week ago, and you've got to convince your players that this team can play. They have a lot of good players. They don't have a full complement, but they have some guys that are very, very capable.
It's USC. They have athletes. They got shooters, and even though they are shorthanded, they're showing some of that ability right here. For the top to Kosovo. And going to work on James. Great man-to-man defense. Over the top, Rakozovic, double team, bobble. Off-balance shot and maybe a bailout there on the baseline. Tuesday, we'll have the Boca Raton Bowl between UAB, the Conference USA champs. How about this? They cut their football 4 years ago. Just reinstated it last year. Now they're in the Boca Raton Bowl. Northern Illinois, the MAC champs. Tough D's squaring off 7 Eastern on ESPN and on the ESPN app. Watch it anyway.
Great story at UAB. Bringing football back and all those athletes delivering. And good place to go for a bowl.
No kidding.
Not bad.
Late December in Boca. Kosovic has not yet scored. He's got 4 rebounds. He is a tremendous free throw shooter. That was 1 for 2, and USC leads by a pair.
You know, when you watch USC against Nevada, you saw a very talented team. There wasn't that much difference between Nevada and USC for long stretches, and then USC stopped making shots, and Nevada pulled away. A team that most people think can make a run deep, very deep in the tournament, maybe even in the Final Four.
Even further than last year when they were outstanding 7th turnover for Oklahoma. What's going on with the Sooners offense right now?
They're just out of sync. They're kind of standing and looking at this zone. The ball's kind of sticking on one side of the floor. They're not getting any dribble penetration, and the length on the perimeter of USC bothering the Sooners.
Kozovic. That is a really nice move, but he cannot find it. James with the board.
You need to do that, too. They need to get out in transition and try to beat this zone down the floor.
What a pass to Manic. With two!
Now that's indeed what they did, and James started it with the quick outlet and then finished it with the perfect delivery to Manic.
That stems a 7-0 Trojan run and ties the game at 14. Shaquan Aaron, a wild drive. Andy Enfield wanted a foul.
There was definitely contact on the baseline.
Calixte, stop, lob, and Aaron in transition. Then a little alley-oop.
Aaron Calixte at times has made bad decisions in transition. He's got to just slow down. He went a little bit too deep on that play, and then USC falling asleep.
Too easy off the inbound, and Enfield wants to get into Kozovic off that inbound play.
It's a good, quick
fire for Enfield. Those two are a little bit too easy.
A dunk and a layup will always do that. It'll get your blood boiling, but he's got to keep his foot and thumb on this team right away because of the fact of what happened last weekend in LA against TCU.
Good news for the Trojans. Weaver is back on the bench. He's walking around trying to keep himself stretched out. Now he will return to the locker room, so trying to stay limber. Usher, baseline. That's a give and a miss on a bunny for Jerron Brooks.
Brooks, they have high hopes for Brooks. He hasn't had that many minutes this year. And right again, Oklahoma right to the rim.
Christian Doolittle back to the basket, lay-in. And the entry passes have just been way too open for Oklahoma.
Two things USC has got to do. They were doing it for a few possessions, and in the last few, they've got their hands down on defense. They're not up in the passing lanes and using that length on the perimeter to get up into the perimeter players of Oklahoma's vision, and the back of USC's zone is planting themselves right underneath the net, and that's what happens. When you're underneath the net, you can only defend one way, taking the ball out of the net after the other team scores.
So Oklahoma answers with a 7-0 run of their own. Weaver back on the bench. He's been back and forth to the locker. I don't know whether he's getting taped up, stretched out, but looks like he will be able to rejoin the action here. Foul on the floor. Going down the lane was Usher. Been a little bit of a half of runs, Tim.
It has, and there's not been a lot of flow so far. Both coaches are up in the grills of the officials and their players. Instead of a quiet night on a Saturday night in downtown Tulsa, we got a little fire going early.
Elijah Weaver looks like you did after your run at the Gathering Place Park here in Tulsa early. He's got the elastic bands working.
Yeah. Got to stretch out those old muscles. Christian James doesn't have that problem. He elevates for that big rebound.
And notice you said old muscles. I did not. Calixte looking at Manic. And McNeese going in the post. Lost the handle on the way up, and he will be fouled by Boatwright, it looks like. Game of runs. The latest belongs to the Sooners, and they lead by 5. Let's see, 8-4 in the early game. Manic, who by all measures should be a better free throw shooter than he is so far in this season. Gets a chance at the line. And that one is perfect.
And he's a player who's going to live in the gym. There's no doubt about it. And I have a feeling once they hit the Big 12, his numbers are going to elevate from the three-point line. He's become more of a complete player this season.
67% on the year, but he made those two. And they will, you talk about getting into the Big 12, they get in with a huge thud. They begin at Fog Allen on the 2nd of January.
Bring him on early. Might as well see where you stand right out of the gate. But this is for the impressive win this afternoon over Villanova.
Yeah, Jay Wright's club hung around for a long while. That was tight late. A little bit of a frozen look for the USC offense here in the last couple of moments. Got a field goal for 2 minutes and change. 7-point Sooner lead. Manic double. Nice pass to Calixte in the lane.
Oklahoma has become very patient against this zone. After struggling for a few minutes in the first few possessions, They're now reversing the ball and getting some cuts to the rim.
Jonah Matthews, no good. Boatwright cleans it up, but too strong. He has not been good on the offensive end, Mr. Boatwright.
Well, that was the problem in the TCU game early, is that Boatwright missed a ton of easy shots right in front of the rim.
And Rakozovic, the same thing, 2 of 9, all layup attempts. You know, we talked about this Oklahoma team who's going to have to navigate an incredibly difficult Big 12. There is something to be said, Tim, for starting the year at Kansas. I mean, it's the first league game. You get them early. The students will not be back on campus yet. Obviously, Fog Allen will still be electric for that matchup. But, hey, you're playing well. Maybe not the worst thing to get there early.
It sounds good.
until you actually have to see those guys on the other end.
You actually walk out onto the floor. And then it's like all of that's forgotten. It might as well be March, because it doesn't matter if the students are there or not. They tipped it up at 11 a.m. this morning, and it could have been 9 o'clock at night. They were excited.
Now as Matthews drove the lane. There it was earlier today. No Azubuike, but no problem for the Jayhawks.
Dedrick Lawson, very skilled big man. The transfer from Memphis can light it up from the outside. He's got good moves around the basket. You see, does a good job on the glass, but also a very, very effective passer.
You know, one of the really cool things about doing a late night game, as we do here at the BOK Center in Tulsa, is that you get to watch the other top teams in the country play. That was a great game to watch. How about the finish in Indiana and Butler in Indianapolis? That was spectacular.
The only complaint is we missed the Gonzaga North Carolina game, which was high octane offense.
At last look, Carolina had a big lead in that game. You know, it's interesting. Mark Few's club, they really challenged themselves out of conference, but they are looking for a marquee top-tier win. They don't yet have one. They lost to Tennessee, and if they lose to Carolina, you know, Tim, that could really impact their ability to be on that top line come March.
Except we can't forget their win over Duke.
That's a good point. Pretty good way to begin things.
There you go.
Strong with a 3 was Matthews, and there's Rakozovic to clean it up.
He's got to be more physical. He has that ability to throw his body around in there. He's had a very, very good season, but he's got to go to the offensive glass. Then they don't get back on defense.
Miles Reynolds, he is an attacker. Started the last couple with McNeese out, and he is giggling on his way back down the floor.
47 free throw attempts in the first 9 games this year. He is one thing on the attack mode.
He's shot 47, and he's made 43. That's a pretty good plan.
Whoa.
James down the lane. And the infield has seen enough. He needs timeout as the Sooners pull ahead by 10.
Now, because this team is built to last. They've got depth, and once they get McNeese back in the rotation and fill around him, and these other guys, as you said, Matt Freeman's done a nice job filling in as well, and he's shown that he can play and get some minutes, quality minutes, and extend the defense from the perimeter at that 5 spot. And the infield, though, is not fooling around tonight. He has 2 timeouts left.
Making it very hard for me to see the offense operating right in front of us. His Boatwright for 3. In and out. He just does not have the range early. Good to see Elijah Weaver is back out on the floor.
It is, and they need him to get going. They need somebody to get going.
What were you saying about Miles Reynolds attacking? And that may be, certainly from Andy Enfield's perspective, a little bit of a bailout.
Ron Kruger says, yes, he attacks. Sometimes it's good. Most of the times it's good, but sometimes he doesn't slow down for anybody. But you know what? It's easier to slow somebody down than it is to speed them up. So you don't want to take that type of attitude away from a player like Miles Reynolds.
A little bit out of control there. I mean, the grad transfers from Maine and Pacific have really contributed. He is never afraid to go to the basket. They love his enthusiasm, the way he competes. He gets on the floor for every loose ball. You touched on it very briefly, Tim, but it is not easy to come to a power program like Oklahoma and not only assimilate as Reynolds gets his own miss with a little bit of a help from Matt Freeman, cannot find it, but not just assimilate, but become real key pieces.
Well, it's not easy because you've got to keep your eye on who's going to be a grad transfer all the time and who's in their 5th year. They're a nice move to the rim.
Quan Aaron, he's made himself known here in the opening with a chance with a make to make it an 8-point game.
USC really has to talk about in the next time out and a halftime about getting back, getting their defense set. Oklahoma's had too many easy buckets even after makes, where USC does not get back and identify. And he's going to go back to the 2-3 zone. Now, the way you can see if they're playing it properly is if they're active at the top, they have their hands out, they're in a stance, they're harassing the basketball and moving on the pass, not on the catch.
Pretty good stuff from Thornton, and a turnover for the Sooners, so there it is.
Well, there's what Lon was talking about earlier, that Reynolds at times tries to go a little bit too fast. 10 assists, 15 turnovers on the year, and you want him to get to the free throw line, but you have to slow down once in a while.
You know, the spin on the fact that coming into this game, Oklahoma's had more turnovers than assists was that they got a lot of attackers, and sometimes the makes are not off passes, but we've seen it here. That's 8 turnovers in the first half. Scrap in the corner, and James comes away.
Probably a couple quick shots, first by Aaron, and then Weaver just kind of forced it with a fresh shot clock.
It's a little bit out of control. Manick, I think that is off of his thigh, and James realizing it, tracks it in the corner, tries to go off Weaver, but it's to Rekozovic. Trojans absolutely have numbers. Aaron, wild spin, and that's going to be a charge. Manick got out of the restricted area. Maybe a little unnecessary 360 there.
They're probably going to be in the top 10 by the time they play Duke, but those two guys, how about that? Combined 16 rebounds per game as well for Barrett and Williams.
Not impossible. Those are the first 2 picks in the NBA draft. Track the alley-oop to James. He is fouled again under the basket. The fouls are really racking up, and for a short-handed USC team, their 11th foul, a lot of them inside under the bucket. That could be a problem to look out for.
They really have to tighten up the back of this 2-3 zone, you know, and make Oklahoma prove that they can shoot from the outside. Right now, they're just extended a little bit too much on the perimeter, and the backline guys are just zoned in on the basketball. They're not manning up with cutters coming through the middle of the lane.
This is a free throw. Texas Tech, part of this elite Big 12. I mean, it is really going to be rough with Iowa State, Kansas State. It is a loaded league. And Oklahoma, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule from where people thought they might be after Trae Young moves on. So that is one of the truly elite leagues in the country.
Well, Joey Brackett's got his first bracket out of December, and 7 Big 12 teams in the tournament early.
Meanwhile, the Pac-12 should be easier to navigate for USC as Jonah Matthews misses the 3. He made 7 3-pointers, did Matthews, in the Pac-12 semifinal game a year ago against Oregon. They thought that locked up their bid. Of course, it did not. As Freeman in the corner, he is an elite 3-point shooter. Gives it to McNeese. Back to Reynolds. Surprise, surprise. He crashes down the lane, and he draws the 17th team foul for USC in the half.
Well, the thing about Miles Reynolds, we talked about him on the attack with the basketball. That time he did a great job cutting from the weak side, and a perfect pass from McNeese.
Well, the big boys inside for USC are not getting it done. Boatwright and Rekozovic combined 1 for 11. So this is sort of the TCU nightmare all over again in that regard.
You know, and some of it is just missing point-blank shots, but some of it also is taking shots kind of out of their rhythm and under duress. And when USC has spaced the floor, shared the ball, moved the ball from side to side, they've been pretty effective.
Reynolds pushes the Sooner lead to 10. So as good as the Big 12 appears to be heading into conference play, the Pac-12 at the moment, in a lot of these rankings, Oregon is just about the highest ranked team. In the Ken Pom number, they're just 31. So there's a lot going on out west that USC could benefit from as they turn it over. And here comes Reynolds. A lot of contact, no call, but he lays it in.
Yeah, slapped right across the shoulder. Not sure how the officials missed that one.
For all the whistles in the half, that one, give it a pass. It doesn't. Reynolds has 5. Rekozovic. That stems the tide.
That's a good shot in rhythm of their offense, but they got to get back on D.
James short for 3.
James does a great job of just running up the sideline. Oklahoma looks for him to catch it and attack.
He is not happy with himself after that make. That was a big momentum swing. Boatwright, 1 step too many. All things considered, I think USC is probably pretty happy to be within 10.
on the break off a turnover. Oklahoma does a great job. They just fill the lanes and hit ahead to the open man.
9th turnover for USC. One of our first looks at Jamal Bieniemy. The name sounds familiar for a reason, and he comes on the floor to dribble the ball 6 times and call a timeout for Lon Kruger. His uncle, Eric, the great Colorado.
Deep into basketball season, except we're trying to pull for our Green Bay Packers tomorrow over the Bears. We've got to try to sneak our Packers into the playoffs.
Well, I'll just clue you in a little bit. Even though they lost to San Diego over the week, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, man, he is like the young meteor in the NFL. Reynolds for 3 in the corner.
Well, great job, Oklahoma, going to one side of the floor, spacing it on the weak side with the skip pass to the open man.
Just his 5th 3-point make. He's got it going. He's got 8 points early. And here he comes in transition. Reynolds lays it in.
Now, if you don't play hard against Miles Reynolds, he is going to take your wallet and bring it home and spend the money at the rim.
Checking my back pocket. 15-point Sooner lead. Would be an enormous make, and they get it from Weaver in the corner.
Oh, Weaver having an outstanding first half. They need to keep him on the floor and keep him healthy.
Freeman can do this. Splash.
Now, this might be a neutral game in theory, but this crowd in this building loves their Sooners.
And Aaron forced that one a little bit, but an offensive board. Weaver, can he do it again? In and out. That's a big rebound for McNeese. 120 miles from Norman. Again, this does count officially as a home game for the Sooners. Benny Boatwright comes away with it. 15 between game and shot clock, and USC will keep it. Looked like it might have gone off Aaron's hands.
This is the Sooners, and what they do best, Will, is if you get playing straight up, they will get low and get nasty on defense and attack and space it and lock it in.
There's Freeman from downtown. They say he's become much more than a 3-point shooter. The numbers sort of underscore that, but he can still really shoot it from deep. Well, you're not an NFL fan. I get it. You're not paying attention at the moment. Are you a Seinfeld fan too?
No, we are NFL fans. We just
You're
don't.
Just locked in.
We don't like to admit it during basketball season, but you know we will focus in on it when we need to.
Well, how about Seinfeld? Are you in or out?
We've got 3 of the kids. We watch hoops all the time.
One thing is on at the Welsh household. Well, Matt Freeman is a huge Seinfeld fan. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. A miss on a 3-ball, and Oklahoma has about 4 seconds between game and shot. And flashes to the top of the key, but now we're going to wait for George Costanza in the post. 12 to go in the half. Man. Did he step on the sideline? Yes, he did. So USC will get it with just under 7 seconds to go. So Freeman is an enormous Seinfeld fan, and in 2 games, Oklahoma goes to Northwestern. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Elaine, her son, is on the team at Northwestern, and he's like gripped with nerves that she might actually be there that day. He's dying to meet her. He wants to maybe do his best awkward dance around Julia Louis.
Who knew they were big in New Zealand?
Get out, you might say. In the corner, 3 for Matthews. What an end to the half for USC. A half that saw injury, that saw frenetic play at times. That 3-ball gets them back within 12. We're at the Oklahoma. They really have, Tim, and you know, not to make everything, especially now that he's gone, about Trae Young, but the balance, not just in scoring, but in distribution and shot attempts for Oklahoma. That's really one of the narratives coming in. They had 5 guys who have scored more than 9 a game, 5 guys who've taken more than 50 shots. Young took 60% of the points in terms of shots and assists. He had his hand in everything. It's much more evenly distributed this year.
They really rebounded the ball well. 19 defensive rebounds, just keeping USC off the glass. And it's difficult to get a lead in the first half of 12 points when you have 6 assists, 10 turnovers. But Oklahoma gets to the free throw line. They keep attacking. USC played that 2-3 zone, and Oklahoma did not settle for threes. They kept going right to the rim.
Tim, you're a head coach. The eyeballs clearly immediately go from assists to turnovers in that halftime locker room, as tumbling to the ground is Jonah Matthews. He'll draw the foul. Sort of a similar style here early in the second half. 11 assists, 20 turnovers. We've had more here early in the second. Don't you think both coaches are harping on taking care of the ball?
Oh, absolutely. And USC just has to tighten up their defense as well. Not only in the half court with their zone, being more active with their hands and communicating, but in transition, getting back and matching up.
Jonah Matthews. He's got 6 on the evening. And USC back within 10. Lexty, I thought, was very quiet in the opening half. There's Manick. He had his first shot of the first half, and he does the same in the second.
Well, USC had a better seemingly attitude going into the locker room than they had the last 7 or 8 minutes of the half. Just for that late 3 they had, just to kind of make them feel better. And they seem a little focused here defensively early, but Oklahoma again attacking, getting in the lane.
Reynolds led him in the first half. He's got 13. And just like that blink of an eye, the lead is 14.
He is a confident player. He doesn't always make the right decisions, but he's got that look. He is focused.
There's Rakozovic. His field goal numbers, Tim, are stupid. Rakozovic shoots at near 50%, led the Pac-12 last year in that category, and he gets off to a good start here in the second half. And Calixte just not in a rhythm.
Lon Crew not happy with their defense the first 2 minutes of this half. And again, a pretty easy one, but a good defensive play by Doolittle.
Jackson with the right hand. Let's see if Oklahoma can get into a better sequence here on this half of the court. Calixte probing. There's James. Deck between the legs. Give to Doolittle. Did he get it off before the shot clock expired?
I don't believe they did. And it was a heck of a play by James.
Clearly pro-Oklahoma. When it gets to 10, 12, 14, sloppy play, stem the tide right there.
Well, not only that, which I agree with. I think coaches really should manage their timeouts much better on the road than at home, because you got the home crowd support, the confidence that you have at home, but also coming off what happened last weekend against TCU, he's going to make sure this team doesn't go into big, long bouts, and he wanted to remind them of their play when they didn't play hard.
Well, a scrum for the ball, and Aaron comes away with it. Manick had 2 hands on it. I think he just took an elbow to the eye. He is wincing. Maybe just a finger. That's no fun. Top of the head, side of the cheek. Stays in there.
Couple slaps. No blood, no foul.
Calixte off a Doolittle's screen. In among the trees, but he cannot find it.
A good move to the rim. Just couldn't finish it.
Behind the back pass. 3 ball. Good for Jonah Matthews. Just as he did at the end of the half. That's a big bucket. And USC within 7.
And some life from the bench and a little confidence offensively for the Trojans.
Doolittle back to the basket, and they're going to say Rakozovic touched it last. I thought that went through Doolittle's legs, and Andy Enfield agrees. Changes for Lon Kruger, Bieniemy, and Freeman. And he's trying to find offense. Those are players to try to shoot the ball from deep. And certainly in Freeman's case, a little bit of a different rotation.
Well, no doubt, but also they need some defense, and their intensity on the defensive end hasn't been what they need so far. And USC starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm.
Christian James, 8 points in the first half. USC had another 7-0 run. That's the 3rd 7-0 run we've had in this game. Seesaw affair. Thornton been relatively quiet. Matthews passed up a 3. Rakozovic, a little bit of contact. Oh, he cannot get the layup to go. He missed the first, got his own rebound, and just off the rack for a three-point try.
USC in a better rhythm this half, not only because they're making shots, but how they're getting those shots. And they're sharing the basketball, the better spacing. Andy Enfield's calling for their open offense, where they really try to space the floor. Rakocevic doing a good job of rolling to the rim, just couldn't finish. Got a shot blocked, but stayed with the play.
Money McNeese is at the scorer's table. He will check back in here. Saw more of him in the first half than we maybe expected as Doolittle goes to the bench. Maybe bring the big rim protector in to try to amp it up on the defensive end.
A little frustrating play there for Doolittle. A tremendous block, but Rakocevic just stayed with the play. Got to the free throw line.
It is sudden. With that free throw make, it's a 5-point game. 9-0 run for the Trojans. If Andy Enfield can see USC through this game and come back to win, it will be his 100th win at SC. Foul on the baseline. They're going to get Matthews with James coming down the baseline. USC hanging in. They're within 5 behind the back. You know, Jonah Matthews has made a couple critical threes in this ball game to get them closer at the half, and that one to make it a 5-point lead. He is a kid who can really fill it up. He had not shot the three well this season, but a turnaround here tonight. There's Freeman, speaking of threes.
That's a major mistake by Jordan Usher. He cannot leave Freeman open. He got his head turned in on the dribble penetration and lost track of Freeman on the perimeter.
I mean, in the video scout before this game and all week long, that's what they say about Freeman, right? You cannot leave him open.
Well, he knew Freeman was there, but he just got his head turned in, and sometimes that happens when you overhelp on the weak side.
Rakocevic, no good. Yeah, there's McNeese. Another one of those maybe forced hook shots there from Rakocevic. James inside. He can't find a touch. So a miss. Rakocevic sends it away, and back up top to Bieniemy. 10 on the shot clock.
Good job by Rakocevic, just getting big, putting that wall up inside.
Looking for Freeman. 3 fade away, no good, and USC holds.
McNeese has to slide into that open area when his man leaves him to help on Christian James.
Weaver down the lane, almost an and one try. They're slashing much more effectively in this half.
I'm sure Coach Enfield had a long discussion about their offense in the locker room, and it's been a week-long discussion, really kind of just reiterating that we have talent. We just have to share and make each other better on the floor. And they've done a great job here in the second half doing that. Better body language, the bench is up. I think Andy's done a nice job of rotating players in and out of the lineup very quickly, not leaving guys in there too long, trying to mix and match his rotations.
He is, Andy. It was finals week at Oklahoma. Lon Kruger relieved that his guys got through that period. And it's that time of year for these student athletes where juggling a whole lot of things. Final exams, a week off for both these teams, Saturday to Saturday, as Weaver has them back within 6. That's never fun as a coach. It's a critical element of it, Tim, but man, finals week is no bargain.
And then you still got Oklahoma and USC coming at you. You know, it's the coach, you got to keep practicing because the game's coming, but you got to allow the students their time as well. And right now, these teams are both heating up a little bit in here in the second half. Better flow offensively.
What a pass from Thornton, and that is a make for Rakocevic.
It's the best remedy. Drive, draw the defense, and make the extra pass. Everyone's happy on the floor right now for USC.
That has been their formula in this half. We know Reynolds will attack. Here he goes. Off the window down.
About Reynolds is Andy Enfield's upset is that they keep allowing him to get to his right hand, where he's scoring all of his plays.
What a strip and make for Derek Thornton, and one. Now McNeese had it, and his pocket got picked.
Well, Derek Thornton really showing a lot of strength. This is a weight room move here. First getting to the rim. Tremendous pass to Rakocevic. Rakocevic sliding into that open area, and then on the loose ball, Reynolds just trying to go hard to his right, and we talked about it a little bit, just taking away that right hand, and Thornton does a really good job of just getting up in him and Reynolds tried to go through the door and was shut down.
Another offensive rebound. Rakocevic makes this a 4-point game.
Well, this is what you don't want to do when you're playing USC. Give them any confidence, because you know they've got some talent out there on the floor. They've just got to put it together, and they're starting to in this half. Wow,
that looked like maybe it went off of the hand of Aaron, but USC has it down 4.
The Oklahoma bench certainly jumped up and saw what we just saw.
I think that's Sooner ball. Let's see. On the move. 15-7 run for the Trojans. I mean, Tim, this kid Derek Thornton was an ultra elite prospect coming out of high school. Findlay Prep in Vegas, went to Duke, transferred here. Starting to assert himself in this half. For Rakocevic, that's not necessarily his game, and a big stop for the Sooners. James, strong for 3.
Probably a little quick there for James. Contested on the wing.
Aaron to make it a 1-point game, no good, and Bieniemy with the board. Reynolds down the lane, and there is one of those 5-point swings that Aaron made it. On this end, it's a 1-point game. Instead, it's Reynolds, and it's 6 for Oklahoma.
That happened in the TCU game. A missed dunk on one end turned into a Jalen Fisher 3 at the other. Instead of cutting it to 4, it went to 9, and those can sometimes be backbreakers.
And there is Thornton asserting himself. He draws the foul. Reynolds leads all scorers with 17. It is clear, you said it. Andy Enfield just said, look, we got to go to the basket, and they have all taken that to heart.
And they're not just going on the first pass either. They're probing the defense. They're doing a much better job of spacing, sharing, moving it from side to side.
Thornton was not good against TCU. He really got out of a rhythm early, missed all 4 of his field goals. He is very good in this spot, although tonight he would not know him. 25 games for the Trojans a season ago. He is not happy with that free throw miss. At this time of the game, these are enormous.
Oklahoma not happy with that last foul call. They thought that they were in good defensive guarding position around the basket. Now, both coaches doing their share of barking at the officials. There they are.
Just comes with the territory. Tight game. Matthews comes back in. He's been enormous. Thornton to the bench. Sort of an extended look at a critical time for the kid. Bieniemy tells you that Lon Kruger has some good feelings about him in a pressure spot. Certainly has those about James, and what a play down the lane and the foul.
That was a man's play to the rim right there. This is a senior who's been in the weight room for 4 years, who understands I can just lower my shoulder and clear some space.
Well, Saquon Aaron is an extreme athlete, a supreme talent, but he just does not have the bulk to handle James.
Well, the thing about Christian James that is so different, you talk about his ability to get to the rim and do different things out on the floor, but moving without the basketball, catching in a good spot, and then attacking.
Look out, here come the Sooners. Bieniemy. That is an enormous tidal wave for the Sooners. The lead is back to 10 in a.
Just kicks it off his foot, dribbling it up the floor, and Oklahoma again on the attack off the turnover.
I feel like if Aaron makes that 3 in the near side corner, we've got a totally different ball game, and in a flash, it's 10 again.
But this is what Andy talked about earlier to us today, Will. It's just playing through these moments, not letting your bad offense or sometimes unfortunate offense affect your defense. And here comes Oklahoma again on the run.
The snowball is rolling. You know, Nick Rakocevic was pretty blunt about that after the TCU game. Things getting out of control as Odoms walked under the baseline. That's a pretty good play there by Jordan Usher to force the turnover. And indeed, that will send us to another break. I'll tell you what Nick Rakocevic said about. A game that has looked a little bit more like UFC than hoops at times comes back for the under 12. 10-point Oklahoma lead. Will Fleming, Tim Welsh, BOK Center in Tulsa. Tim, what do the Trojans need to do to get this thing close again?
How about Benny Boatwright gets involved in the game? He's their leading scorer, and he's got a goose egg. He scored as much as you and I have tonight. So, Benny, let's go. Andy said in the last time out, you know, Benny has not made a shot. He has 0 points, and he is their leading scorer. So, it's bad news, good news, I guess, if you're USC. But that's bad news because you cannot leave that man open on the perimeter. He'll make one here and there.
He has improved the jumper. They say that the early jumper for Odoms gave you some visions of the Markelle Fultz free throw routine. And what a play by James, who, by the way, has his third double-double, I should say, in as many nights, and he causes another USC turnover.
You know, that's where you're frustrated in the NFL. You come into a game, you're on the road, and you've got your senior, your leading scorer, and he's got 0 points with 10:48 to go in the game. And Oklahoma's done a good job, and I think Benny Boatwright's worked hard. He just hasn't had that opportunity, and I'm going to try to get him going, maybe even down in the box. He likes to stand on the perimeter. He's a very good shooter, but I've got to try to get him at least to the free throw line.
Just inside the line, James spinning, and a foul on the floor. We didn't see a whole lot from our perspective on that play. They're going to get Aaron again, but I thought it was pretty straight up. It has to be on the floor at least, right?
It's on the floor, and USC now, be aware, Oklahoma's done some efficient baseline out-of-bounds plays, and USC's back in the man, and they get beat to the rim.
Something tells me Andy Enfield is going to work on inbound defense this week in LA. That is two that have been way too easy.
Well, they weren't matched up here, and they kind of straight up and just a straight line cut to the basket, and Matthews gets caught on the hip of Manning. A mismatch.
Montano run to stretch this lead back to 15. And those, Tim, you can speak to this far better than I can. Manick does not complete the three-point play. Those right there, those drive you crazier than anything.
As you're trying to accomplish so much, and that goes back to sometimes not being able to practice fully and for long periods of time. You know, the basics, you have to cut something out of your practice when you've only got 7 players.
Can't have Jason Hart defending the inbound play, their assistant coach. Thornton off the window. Is that an offensive foul? Yes, it is. What a job by Odoms. He hits the triple on one end, gets his feet outside the restricted area, and draws the charge.
Frustrating play from Derek Thornton. No, I thought he made a nice move. He gets by James, releases the ball, and just kind of not a lot there, but he sold it.
Could easily be a no call and a bucket. It did not impact the plate. Tim, don't you feel like this has the sense of a real critical juncture for USC to try to stay in here?
There's no doubt. You know, good job by Indy going to the 2-3 zone. Very active, caused a turnover.
Worked very effectively in the first half. Albright begging for the ball in the post. Team on the shot clock. Aaron. Matthews contacted. He'll not get the roll, but he will be at the free throw line. Week 15 Monday Night Football matchup, an NFC South battle in Charlotte. Drew Brees, the 11-2 Saints. They clinched the division on Sunday, but man, they're tussling with the Rams for a home field. Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey, and the Panthers, they desperately need a win. 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and available on the app. You can watch anywhere. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6. They will not be watching that in the Welsh household.
Okay, we'll go to football. We'll go to a little football talk. You're insisting. I know the network wants us to talk a little football. We'll talk football. I got Saints or Packers in the Super Bowl against the Pats.
You're still saying the Packers are going to make a run.
The Packers with Joe Philbin at the helm, they are turning things around. They're going to run the table, and then Aaron Rodgers is going to perform some magic.
It's very difficult to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Or Joe Philbin.
There you go. Friend of yours, and they did look like they were rejuvenated.
Has nothing to do with friendship. It's everything to do with his coaching ability and leadership qualities.
maybe a little better use of the challenges in game 2. At the helm is too little to make in the lane.
Well, Oklahoma, Will, has been very impressive in their attack of this zone. Lon Kruger was worried about it a little bit today because he hadn't faced as much zone this year, but they're doing a great job of getting to the rim. There's Boatwright trying to get one.
It is not his night. There's a seal on the rim for Benny.
Hey, you got to feel for him, though. He's playing hard. He really is. He just has not been able to find many open looks.
This is the kind of night where USC could really use Kevin Porter Jr., Chuck O'Bannon Jr., prolific offensive talents. Manick in the corner.
Whoa.
Trouble time.
That looked like a little Larry Legend.
There's Boatwright. Who would have thought? Top of the key 3, his first of the night.
Well, he has that ability, and just kind of a, wow, it's about time from him. A frustrating night, but got his feet set in rhythm.
Trying to stay around here within 15. It's just unmistakable, the likeness from Manick and Bird. Good for Doolittle. Did Aaron keep it in bounds? He did to Rakoza. And then James gets his hand around Odoms, and Oklahoma has it right back.
Well, last Friday was a national holiday in Boston. It was Larry Bird, LB's.
The orange tie. I think in these parts, you wear orange, there's going to be some shenanigans. I think somebody played a trick on me. Be okay, Center. And Oklahoma doing okay tonight.
Well, looking forward to the Big 12. It's going to be, as always, just great from top to bottom. And who is in the bottom, it's just unknown at this point because you predict it. But, you know, going to places like Stillwater and Ames and Waco, it's always difficult. It doesn't really matter what the talent level is. And TCU, we saw them up close and personal about a week and a half ago against SMU. They are terrific as well. Really good defensively.
There's going to be a lot of those gyms this winter riding the Big 12 circuit. And I give Oklahoma a lot of credit before this game, talking to a bunch of their staff. They are very well aware that as pleased as they are with the way things have gone so far. Look, a year ago exactly to this date, they were 8-1. Trae Young was going crazy. Everyone was thinking this is going to be a tremendous run for us. And then all of a sudden you go on the road in the Big 12 to some of those gyms, and things look very different.
There's no doubt about it. You look at Mike Boynton, what he's done at Oklahoma State's first year. A couple wins over Kansas. He's just he's done a nice job there. And Texas Tech, it's still kind of tucked away down in Lubbock, and no one really talks about him. But again, probably be in the top 10 on Monday.
Just ahead of that matchup at the Garden with Duke, we'll have that on the ESPN networks as Reynolds missed the first, makes the second. With that, Oklahoma extends the lead to 16. Squan Aaron now with 4 personal fouls. Reynolds has 18 to lead them all.
He really does a great job, not only attacking off the bounce, but tonight really moving well without the ball to the rim.
Boatwright, see if he can build on his 3. Spinning layup. Count it. And the foul.
For the first time, got a little bit of space going to the rim. They've done a great job of just totally denying him. They've had put different defenders on him, mostly Christian James. This time Doolittle did a pretty good job of cutting the angle off, but Boatwright extends over the top.
Doolittle's 4th foul means McNeese is going to come back off the bench. You know, just to get back to this kid, Kevin Porter Jr., who Andy Enfield says is the biggest freak athletically he's ever coached. He said as an assistant at Florida State, they had Al Thornton, who was tremendous, but that this guy is as pure a wing scorer as he's ever been around as a coach. That's Kalexti, and that's a positive sign for him.
Well, exactly. You know, he's going to get a one and done. You want to make sure he plays a little bit for you before he leaves. And a lot of people have Porter coming out early, but they definitely need him back soon, just to give him another offensive weapon that can go one-on-one. And there's Kalexti flexing his muscles.
Kalexti a couple in a row. The latest mock drafts have the kid Kevin Porter Jr. going 9th in the first round of the NBA draft. It's a really weird deal, Tim. He got a thigh bruise, and they thought, well, it'll just be a couple of days, but it has really become like this big mass, this blood clot in his leg. Taking a look on that bench at Porter, and look, there are worries that if you don't handle it, you don't treat it, it calcifies, it becomes bone. It's a long-term thing, so they're playing it safe with him, but man, this would be a totally different looking team.
Oh, right there, you just get a good look of what's been USC's story this year. You got as many guys out of uniform as in uniform on the bench. And Porter obviously points to him coming back for the Pac-12 season, but a lot of unknown there.
He's trying to kick a little rust off. Ankle injury for him. That's a corner three that will not fall for Thornton. What effort there by Usher. Crashing the boards, and he will draw the foul. I think, actually, Tim, aside from the score, Mark Kruger's got to be most pleased with the spring and the athleticism that McNeese has shown when he's been out there.
Yes, and they, through the warm-ups, they wanted to get him loose and warmed up and try to get him in a little bit early if he warmed up well, and just giving him maybe more than they even thought tonight. And obviously, in the big picture of things, he is the guy that's going to clog up the middle on the defensive end.
Call me crazy. You're coming off an ankle injury. You got these straps on your shoes. Maybe just fasten them, perhaps. I'm no trainer, but I don't know. That has any impact at all.
You aren't a trainer, I know, and we'll leave the training up to the great Alex Brown.
In between holes in one, he'll deal with the shoe gear for these Sooners. McNeese going to work. Left hand. Good move. Just not the finish. Usher, no good. And McNeese can be called for a foul as Vukozovic crashed the offensive glass.
Oh, there he is. Got the purple tie on. He's looking dapper as ever. And 32 years. And this tells you how great a guy Lon Kruger is to work for. How about he got his 11th hole-in-one with Mr. Alex Brown this past week. But who plays golf during basketball season?
It was finals week. Kids were hard at work in the books. He is a tremendous guy. Alex, I met him for the first time today. He's been around a long time, and there they are. Walking to the bench. Alex not upset about that at all. It's awesome. His car was in the parking lot here before the game. He's got the customized license plate. He's got to change it now after the 11th hole-in-one. The license plate on his car says 10 HLNONE.
5 wood, 206 yards, feathered at home. And the head coach of the Sooners can play a little golf too, but he doesn't take the clubs out during the season. He's breaking down tapes, and he is in the gym. These guys work tremendously hard individually all season long.
How did Calixte hold on to the handle there? Man, it just can't find it with the right hand. The 5-minute mark, Oklahoma comfortably ahead. Boatwright has it going a little bit and will get a chance for the 3-point play.
I think that's where they can use Benny Boatwright a little bit more than they do, getting him to the free throw line. He's doing a good job posting up down low. You see the great footwork, the drop step, and the finish at the hole. And he likes to float on the perimeter. He has the ability to knock down threes. He's a 44% three-point shooter, but you see the nice stroke. But a little bit inside, outside, a little bit more balance to his offensive game will keep him in, I think, in a rhythm where he just doesn't have to totally rely on the face-up jumper.
12. Well, listen, holes in one are nice, but gold paint in the Welsh family is much more important. As young Griffin got some great recognition today at Warwick Country Club.
Oh my God, we're digging deep into the final here. We got a 12-point game here. Well, we got to stay focused.
Proud of your boy, working hard on the game. As James comes back in, Calixte to the bench, has a word with Lon Kruger. Odoms as well. Is Bieniemy going to get some more minutes?
I like the way both coaches have used their bench now. Obviously, Oklahoma a lot deeper on the bench, but that's over and back.
Yes, it is. Kruger does not think so, and they're going to have a discussion about it. And this rule has changed significantly in the last couple of years. They're going to say maybe that Freeman established his hands, left the court in the front court, and then caught it in the back court.
Well, I guess that's the call. Now, what happened is Jerry Pollard was right on the call and saw it one way, and I don't know how the center official, it's hard to see where his feet were when he left, because that white line kind of fades coming through the center of the court. But
that BOK logo.
Keith Kimball had a better angle on the call.
Just let it be known, I was trying to give your son some shine as Reynolds misses the layup. And here comes Derek Thornton the other way. Usher. Finger roll will not go, and James building on his double-double.
As we used to say in coaching, Will, we save the pleasantries for the postgame. Only in a win.
Oklahoma 4-15 from that, and James. Kozovic has got another rebound. Little cheap foul. 90 feet from the bucket for Matt Freeman.
Something you don't see Lon Kruger seem to do very often. Just kind of commit careless fouls on a rebound.
12 rebounds for Kozovic.
We saw USC erase that 12-point lead pretty quickly coming out of the locker room. So Oklahoma cannot relax. USC has a lot of firepower, and especially now with Boatwright kind of into the flow.
Vic makes the first. 13 for him. See, trying to find any way. Get back in this one. 10-point game.
USC has played very hard tonight, and I know Andy Endo was very upset with his team last weekend, rightfully so, that they took their bad offense and let it leak into bad defense, and that has not happened tonight.
They're going to get Jonah Matthews pushing Reynolds to the floor. Well, it's a 10-point game, and he will not have those same complaints. The Trojans.
Boatwright has come alive in the last few minutes, going from 0 to 9 points very quickly. You see his ability to make things happen and keep USC hanging around. But the problem is that they have not found an answer for Miles Reynolds. He just has continued to be on the attack mode to the rim.
Well, this ain't the guy you want at the free throw line either. It's made sort of surprisingly tonight. He has missed 3, so now 5 for 8. But on the year, that means he has missed 5 total free throws. He shot more than 50. Lead back to 12. Boatwright, he mentioned it. Short with the 3.
Christian James is a beast going to get boards out of his area.
What do you think? That 3 probably not what Andy was looking for. James in the paint, sits on the base of the rim and falls.
The vault was shut, and he just lowered his shoulder to crack it open and get it home.
So James has tied a career high with his 13th rebound. Bieniemy, those long arms get into the passing lane, but he stumbles to the ground.
Ooh, he is jet quick defensively.
Boatwright. Kozovic, how did he get that one down? He'll have a chance at 3 after the foul.
It's just coming off that little curl right into the middle of the lane. There's really nothing there. He just attacking from the weak side. But again, he and Reynolds just doing a great job of moving without the basketball. They're not standing on the weak side. They are moving and finding that open gap.
2 little fouls out for Oklahoma, so Freeman will check in for the heel of the rim. James, he just has kind of an uncanny sense for where he is under that rim.
The funny thing is that today's game has changed a lot with the Golden State Warriors. A lot of just space and attack off the bounce, and that means stand on the perimeter and wait for the help to come, and you lock and load when the help comes. Your drive and kick game. But Oklahoma is really good without the basketball moving into open areas as the ball moves on the weak side.
Chance for a 4 or more point play for USC, and yet another turnover at the worst possible time as Elijah Weaver gives it away for the 17th USC giveaway.
Both teams have just been very, very careless with the basketball, and right now USC just desperately needs a quick stop and then a transition bucket.
Going full court, Manick in the lane. Corner, James. Strong, Manick keeps it alive, so does Freeman. Pushes it back up off the board, and USC comes away. Usher, what a three that would be. He buries it, and SC hanging around.
That three by James might have been a little bit too quick, and Lon Kruger wants them to stay on the attack and not lose their aggressiveness, but they also have to understand time is score.
Freeman, another quick three. Manick has it under the board, and Andy Enfield cannot believe they didn't get that rebound. Freeman missed everything, but luckily Manick right place, right time.
I'm not trying to coach Lon's team, but I'm not sure he liked that three from Freeman. But you have to stay in an attack mode, especially when the other team is pressing you, so you can't just hold the ball. You've got to stay aggressive.
You get the press break, you're right, you got the 3-on-1. I love the question you asked him before the game, Tim. You asked him, how into the analytics are you? Because, look, it's everywhere in basketball. And certainly at the next level, but here in college, everyone is informed by it. They see the readouts, the numbers, what shots are higher quality shots, all that sort of thing. As Manick goes 1 for 2.
Well, they're there, so you have to use them to some degree, and that's what Lon says. You know, they do use them as a staff and as a program, but, you know, he's going to coach the way he's coached forever, which is a Hall of Fame career, and he's going to do it by his eyes, who's playing well and how the game is flowing.
Usher cannot get there, and Reynolds with the rebound. That's some defensive intensity for the Sooners.
That's one thing, that their guards do a really good job of rebounding. They don't just hang around on the perimeter.
Looked like they had an even increased level of energy on the defensive side, sensing a win here. 90 seconds to go, and they lead by 10. James for 3, and Manick another offensive board, and they'll swallow it here.
That's where he has really improved his game, just playing more physical on the backboards. And if he ever gets that jumper going, he's going to be an all-league player for Oklahoma.
Oklahoma was an 8-point favorite in this game. How about that move for Bieniemy? Everything but the finish.
Ooh, sweet to the 10.
Thornton is fouled by James. That's a big swing to keep USC around. Well, SportsCenter tonight after the New Orleans Bowl on ESPN. Bucci and Anderson. They'll have all the highlights for the first day of Bowl Mania, plus a couple of NFL games. Texans, Jets, Broncos, Browns. Baker Mayfield has got the Brownies ahead in Denver, and LeBron and the Lakers take on the Hornets in front of his area. SportsCenter tonight after college football on ESPN and the ESPN app. Did you hear what LeBron said about MJ today? He said, for the first time today, I met God.
That's pretty good.
Jordan still carries some weight in the league. Big swing to make it an 8-point game.
Still carries some weight in a lot of places. Right on Oklahoma's uniforms tonight.
Indeed.
The anthracites.
There you go.
There we go. And the USC not giving up. They are still playing aggressive. They're trapping. They're pressing. And just been hurt by a couple offensive rebounds by Oklahoma.
Tim, look, I know that the deal is it's 103. You're down 8. You probably foul relatively quickly. But of anybody on the whole floor to commit that violent a foul, Reynolds, to put him at the line, that to me, you'd like to see the ball get out of his hands, wouldn't you?
You just got to try to extend the game. You're trying to get a quick trap and see if they're uncomfortable against your pressure. But so far, Oklahoma is, all those guards on the floor, they do a good job of spacing, going middle, and then looking to attack the score.
Misses the first. Like I said, brilliant strategy to foul Reynolds. He misses them both. Go figure. Huge trip for USC. Weaver. Manick gets a hand on it. And James, who else gets the board?
Well, Weaver did a good job of just pushing the pace, but then was out of control at the rim.
Now, on paper, another foul out for the Trojans as Aaron is going to go to the benches with his 5th personal foul. On paper, this is a better situation for USC as Bieniemy has only attempted 6 free throws this year. He's only made 2 of them, but given what just happened with Reynolds, that probably means he'll switch both.
Well, he's a good-looking player, though. He does a lot of different things out there on the floor. He's kind of an unorthodox guard. He doesn't shoot the ball great, but he makes a lot of things happen with his energy on defense, and very, very good passer in transition.
Brooks places Mr. Aaron. And Bieniemy does splash home the first. Looking for quick 2s, 3s. Any bucket is good on the USC offensive end.
Well, you don't want to force a 3. Obviously, you'll try to get a 3 on ball reversal, but you try to attack and see if you can get to the free throw line and stop the clock.
Jordan gives to Weaver. Bounce pass out of bounds, and 18 turnovers for the Trojans, and they will be the difference in this game.
Well, Weaver's played a solid game, and he's a good-looking freshman, big guard at 6'5". Got injured a little bit tonight earlier in the game, but late he's made a couple decisions he probably wants back.
Well, it looked like they might back off and not foul, but instead they do go get Christian James himself. He is a tremendous free throw shooter. Came in 82% on the season, and tonight 3 for 5. This is the first. James has now notched a career high 14 rebounds. Makes that one, and the Sooners push the lead to 11.
He finds other ways to beat you when his 3 isn't going down, and that's why he's such an improved player.
Boatwright double clutches the 3. James, rebound number 15, and that will do it. Into the front court, you'd figure SC will lay off and let Oklahoma dribble the air out of this one.
Impressive effort by the Sooners, and just doing it a lot of different ways. They beat you with just team effort and grit. And USC, bad news they lost this game. Good news is they came with a lot of effort and energy, and I think Louisiana can take some good out of this game.
Lon Kruger shakes hands with the SC staff. We will have him in just a little while. 11-point Trojan loss.